Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. Tonight I am home from ball games and throwing together some stuff, and I am going to continue on with our November and Thanksgiving type foods and our pumpkin type recipes. And so I am going to make some pumpkin pie, and we'll have those for dessert tomorrow. And it's a basic recipe, and you can do some substitutions if you want to, but this is the one that we like. So I'm going to start with 1.5 cups of sugar, and I know some people use some brown sugar in theirs, like half sugar, half brown sugar, but we like it with just sugar. And to that, I'm going to add some spices. I'm going to add, or some seasonings. I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. It's out of my crock. And a teaspoon of ground ginger. It's a brand new container, so it's... And 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Bunch of warm spices, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and our recipe calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves, and you can use that much or you can use just a little bit less. This is one of the spices that goes a long ways, so 1/8 of a teaspoon is what it calls for. You could also, instead of those that combination of spices, you could also substitute pumpkin pie spice for that, and it would take 2.5 to 3 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. So I'm going to mix those together, and then I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to go to my wet ingredients. And for that, I have 4 eggs that I'm going to beat slightly before I start the rest of it. Goes in my bowl. And then I'm going to put in my pumpkin, and I have a large can of pumpkin pie filling that I'm going to put in. And you can use any brand. We like Libby's, but you can use an off-brand if you find one that you like. Out. And I've already gone ahead and prepared 2 pie crusts, because that's what it'll take for this. They're not baked, they're just ready to go. And I need 24 ounces of evaporated milk. You always want to shake those before you open them. And that would be 2 12-ounce cans. Our whole family aren't big pumpkin pie fans. We've got a couple of people in our family that don't care for pumpkin pie. So there are a lot of times at Thanksgiving we make sure that we have other pies as well, like cherry and apple and some other desserts, so that everybody has something that they really like. But when I think of Thanksgiving, I think of pumpkin pie. So okay, I want to mix those together. And then we're going to combine the 2 in one bowl, and then these will go in my 2 pie shells. And I'm going to put these in the oven. I'm preheating it to 425. I'm going to put the 2 pies in the oven, but I only want to bake them at 425 for about 15 minutes. And then I want to drop the heat down and bake it at 350, continue baking it at 350 for 40-45 minutes, or until a knife comes out clean when you put it to the center of the pie. Make sure all my pumpkin and eggs are mixed together. There's that oven. And we like to serve ours with whipped cream, but we also have people in our family that don't care for whipped cream, which is hard for me to kind of fathom. And you can do this either way. You can put the sugar mixture in with the pumpkin or vice versa. Okay, so this is the custard that will go into our pie shells, and then we'll bake them. Good morning and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. We're continuing our pumpkin recipes in November, and I am going to share a recipe for you that was inspired by a Pioneer Woman recipe, and it is for pumpkin snickerdoodles, which is basically the same as snickerdoodles, just with some pumpkin flavoring and pumpkin puree, pumpkin pie spice. So anyway, I'm going to share this with you and hope you like it. So in my bowl I have, that I'm going to whisk together, I have 1.5 cups of flour. To that I'm going to add my spice mix, and in this I have 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, a teaspoon of cream of tartar, which all snickerdoodles seem to have in it, 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm just going to whisk those together quickly. And when I get both of my dry ingredients and then my wet ingredients combined, I'm going to cover and refrigerate this for at least 4 hours. But you could do it overnight if you wanted to. So I'm going to set that aside. And in my other bowl, I have melted a 1/2 cup of butter. Put that in there. I also have, pull that butter out. Some pumpkin puree. I have about 1/3 cup of that I want in my bowl. And I'm going to put in some brown sugar, 3/4 cup, and then vanilla. And I need a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to whisk these ingredients together, and then I'm going to combine the two. I wondered where snickerdoodles originated. I'm kind of a history buff, and so I like to know where my recipes came from. This is one of those recipes that is kind of debated on where it came from. I'm going to combine the wet and the dry. Some people think it's a New England recipe, but others, I keep slopping out of my bowl. Others believe that this is an old German recipe, which really both of those could be true, because Pennsylvania Dutch has a German background, so it's very likely that both are true. Okay, once my two are combined, like I said, I'm going to cover these and throw these in the fridge, and then I will come back to show you the completion of the recipe. So there's my dough. Our cookie dough has been chilling for several hours now. My sister was kind enough to take me to lunch, and so I used that opportunity to let the cookie dough set. So now I'm ready to make it into the cookies, or the pumpkin snickerdoodles. So in this bowl, in a smaller bowl, I've placed 3 to 4 tablespoons of regular sugar, and then I added 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. And then I'm going to use my cookie scoop and make a cookie ball, smooth it out a little, roll it in my mixture, and put it on my cookie sheet. Now, I want to put these on the cookie sheet and leave at least 2 inches of space between each one, and then I'll bake them at 350 for anywhere from 11 to 13 minutes. It just kind of depends on your oven. But you'll notice that they start to crack on the tops of the cookies, and then you'll know that they're done. They won't be completely set. When you take them out of the oven, leave them on the cookie sheet for just a minute or two to let them continue to cook, and then put them on your cooling rack to cool. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.